Get some.
Hey Fancy Action Now fans, this is El Viejo Toro of the Fancy Action Now. Today we're here to talk about Capcom and one of the preeminent developers of games in the 90s, early 2000s, really royalty in terms of gaming, but they have really gone down a weird road and just kind of wore their IPs out until they're absolutely anemic. Case in point, Street Fighter V will now have in-game advertising and penalizing players. And I think this is the main thing, is that you're not able to access certain outfits and certain bonuses if you're not watching the advertising or if you're not allowing the advertising. They're always going to do that. I mean, this is the kind of thing where, from a marketing and advertising background, Street Fighter V was already kind of a cluster. The attempt to eliminate single player, no story, hiding the roster behind paywall. They really went greedy with Street Fighter V. And greed seems to be the stupid greed. Stupid greed. You see, I don't know, I'm not trying to be Gordon Gekko here, but greed, or the pursuit of profit, is the score for whether or not it's the scorecard. Are you profitable? Are you growing revenue? It is the scorecard. So if you're profitable and you're seeking revenue and you're successful, you're winning the game. And if you're keeping the customers happy. But if you're gaining that revenue at the expense of the customer in the short term, you're going to lose it in the long term. You know, that's penny wise and dollar stupid. You're going to earn the dollar in the long term. Yeah, you're going to get your penny up front, but then you're going to alienate people. And some people are funny. Like once you screw them over, and then that's not a huge amount of clients or customers. I mean, it's not, but it's always underestimated. It's a very quiet group. They don't complain. They don't go on the websites. They don't tweet. They don't do this or that. They just quietly back away from the market. I'm very much like that, although I'm not so quiet. But there's a lot of people that are like, dude, you burn me. You'll burn me again. I don't care if you came out with something cool. There's a certain percentage, and maybe 5% or 10% of your client base. Let's just say 5% of your total clients. When you really pull a greedy move like Bethesda, there's 5% of the people that affected that will never go back. And 5% out of 100,000 or a million winds up being a lot of people. And when you keep adding to that, little by little, a percent here, a percent there, then it's 6%, it's 7%. And all of a sudden you see the revenue streams contract, and you're like, well, even when we do something right, it's not working. You've alienated people. Permanently, some of them. Some of them will come back, some of them may, but again, the enthusiasm is what you never want to give up. Is that enthusiasm over your product and your brand. I mean, like Coke, or any other major brand. Disney, they're always reinventing the enthusiasm, if you notice. It's like, oh yeah, we got a new ride. Oh yeah, we rebranded. Oh yeah, it's got a new color. Oh yeah. It's the same thing. It's just rebranded, recolored, repackaged, or something to keep you interested in it. You see this all the time. New package, same great taste. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just something new to keep you re-engaged in the brand. And when you can do that in reverse as well. And that's what they don't seem to understand, is that it works in both directions. Every time you pull that cheesy move where you're gouging players, or Destiny, oh my God, where you buy it and then they put it back underneath a paywall. I'm like, oh my God, baby. Oh my God, please, Jesus. You don't do that. That's theft. That person paid for a product. You can't go, again, you can't go. You can't buy a car with leather and then you come out and it's cloth. They went into your car and took the leather out and put the cloth back in, and they're like, oh yeah, the leather went up, so we need another $1,200 and we can put the leather back in. What? I mean, that's just thievery. Again, it's robbery, it's thievery. It's just unbelievable what the video game industry gets into. And they have literally pushed themselves over a cliff. I mean, you have literally nations banning the business practices of major video game publishers. I mean, just what? Talk about a failure to self-govern over stupid greed. Street Fighter has been one of my favorite franchises, like many of us. I'm a lover of the franchise. I did not touch 5. Again, I saw what was coming. I started hearing the whispers. I let the game release, because that was one of the games I was thinking like, oh man, Street Fighter 5 looks good. Maybe I'll come off of that, and I just waited, and oh man, I'm like, it's all gone that way. It's all gone that way. I mean, they would have never done anything. They wouldn't have done that with 4 or 3 or Third Strike or Capcom versus SNK. I mean, just ridiculous, man. I can't believe it. So, in essence, I think that the big controversy with this is the player, the penalizing. If you don't want to look at ads, being penalized, or you could say if you're willing to look at ads, you're getting a bump. So is that really penalizing somebody, or is it giving the advantage to somebody who's willing to look at advertisements? Again, I knew this kind of thing was going to be coming along, and I'm not that. I mean, even far back as PS1, they were putting Mountain Dew and Mountain Dew branded games and stuff. It's just like it was funny. It was kind of cool. I don't object to it. Like if Doritos wants to make an outfit for one of the Street Fighter characters, I wouldn't touch one of the classic characters like Chun-Li, Ryu, Ken. But like again, if you wanted to have if they wanted to do a cross promotion with like Monster Energy drinks and have Ken wear like a custom outfit with Monster Energy drinks, great. I don't know if I'd go and give somebody an advantage of allowing that. I would just put it in there as an option. Like if you want to choose Monster. Now you say, okay, well, they're always going to want to put an incentive for you to use it. So, okay, well now his fireball does double damage, or he has an additional move. He has like a monster power drink move where he does like a 3.
Get some.
I'm writing ad copy right here. I mean, someone's going to take this idea and run with it. Okay, Capcom. Oh my God. But anyway, again, it does taint the legacy of the brand somewhat. But this kind of stuff, especially in fighting games, especially something like this, and especially with Capcom, is going to be coming down the road. I don't know if I hate it, because it actually puts a little bit of attention back onto a game that was a commercial failure. Unbelievable how badly this game failed because they got too greedy. So, and again, this goes back to Destiny. People were pissed about Destiny 2, so we're going to put in microtransactions in there because again, what that is that that's something that they can do when the stockholders go, the sales have disappointed on this game. What are you going to do about it? The board of directors goes, the sales are disappointed in this game. You projected this. What are you going to do about it? See, that people wonder, well, oh man, the game didn't sell and they pissed off the fans. Why are they doing that? They're doing that because that's the only thing they can do with the existent base, is they can say, okay, we gave you another expansion. This time it wasn't garbage. But now we're going to add microtransactions. So they gave you something, and then they're going to take away with something else because they have to be able to report that they're doing something about the shortfall in earnings. And that's what they can do. So that's what they're doing. They can go into the boardroom and say, we patched the game, we put out a release that the fans are liking, we're getting a user base, we're getting some goodwill back. Yeah, but the revenue, what are you doing about revenue? That patch costs money. You have to have some kind of position to add revenue. Again, this is a corporation with a board of directors, it's publicly traded. They have to show additional growth, or they get pounded and people sell off their shares and investment draws away, etc., etc. So you can see where they get into that catch-22 where they got too greedy and they put themselves in that negative position. Again, it's about reinvigorating the brand. The revenue comes. But if you reinvigorate or don't reinvigorate and then simultaneously gouge the customer, then you're backsliding. And that's what they're doing. They've fallen back with Street Fighter V, and now they're backsliding with another cash grab because that's all they got. That's all they got in the books. They don't know what else to do. And again, and this is something like, this is a last ditch gamut right before the end of fourth quarter where people got money in their pocket and they're spending money. So it does draw attention to the game. That's a positive, Capcom. You did something to draw attention to the game. Next time, that roster needs to be big. That's why people, when you get a fighting game and you pull, see, I don't know, Capcom, again, are you in touch with your own players? When you pull up a roster and it's like 30 characters or, you know, a lot of times they're like 20 characters or 15 characters. I don't get that excited about a small roster in a fighting game. I'll buy them if they're niche and they're interesting. I'll buy a small roster fighting game, but I want a big roster. I want interesting movesets. I want to try everybody out in different combinations. You know, it's. I don't want if I buy a game, I spend full bucks on it, and you give me like a short roster and you wall off everybody else with money. I don't want that. And that's exactly. See, if I'm the quintessential fighting game fan, and I looked at that and I'm like, oh man, half the roster's behind a paywall. No gets. This has been El Viejo Toro. Vote with your dollar for the gamer.
It's just him and me.